Chatty House. We ballin', boy. We going up at the Chatty House. We talk about it all, bring the family out. Sub to the channel, hit the likes now. And we only going up when the lights down. Yeah, we just getting started. Ain't no party like a Chatty House party. We just getting started. Ain't no party like a Chatty House party.
What up? Y'all know what it is. It's the Chatty House after party. Normally we're on Wednesdays. I think I did like a little promo I was going to shoot onto for the Wednesday show, and then obviously everybody's everybody's phones blew up about what was going down. Man, after all this talk, I'm still kind of flabbergasted to an extent, right? But we a party. It's Saturday, so we got a party on a Saturday every once in a while, right? And man, I mean, come on, man. The man himself. I texted the man. I just said, "Yo, what up, Tone?" That dude called me laughing because he already knew, like, what's up? We was going to chop it up. If we chopped it up on the phone, we was going to chop it up on the phone. But he was more than willing and obviously graciously came onto the show for us. And that's nothing but love right there, first of all. So what up, Tone? How you feel? I know it's been a long day for you.
Haha, these last 6 hours feel like 6 years.
I bet. That's crazy.
Man,
it's crazy. So
it's fast and moving. But thank you, Chatty House, for inviting me in to y'all Boogie Night extravaganza.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
The firing of Mike Brown by the Sacramento Kings. But yeah, it's been a whirlwind of emotions actually for the last 24 hours. I woke up kind of crazy because I was still feeling the effects of that loss last night. I really wanted the Kings to pull that out, and I was telling myself that if they win, I would not have to go to the practice today before they fly out to Los Angeles. But they lost. So I was obligated by way of, the other entities that I freelance for, including the Associated Press, that I should be there, not knowing anything like this was going to take place. But it probably really started after the game last night, after that crucial loss and that 4-point play. And here we are. I was at the practice.
Everybody got me in the chat. I said Saturday night. It is Friday. I've been drinking, man. Look, man, I'm trying to get my sorrows away. Don't be telling me nothing. If I want it to be Saturday, goddamn it, it's gonna be Saturday in my head. Well, let's start with that, Tom. Like, I want to peel back a little bit with yesterday. Like, you were at the game, right? So, how was that? Like, obviously there was the game for 3 quarters. They had the game in hand, right? There was ebbs and flows where, they could have shot it back to 25, but we were feeling pretty good. I would assume everybody here, right? We're feeling pretty good overall. Like, going into the fourth, we've been basically killing them the whole game, holding them at bay. They made a couple little runs. We held them back. We hit some shots, and then the fourth quarter comes, and we just start seeing them chip away here and there, chip away. Till once it hit under double digits for me, I was like, bro, here we go, man. Like, here we go. Can't hit a shot, defensive lapses, bad passes at times, and then we get to that last play. Obviously, we know what happened there. The press conference afterwards with De'Aaron, and I get it, man. We got opinions about that. Me and Dave were talking about that last night. We got into it a little bit, nothing bad, but obviously just a fan back and forth about opinions. How did you feel, Tone? Like, you take me down your thoughts on that game last night.
Of course, the game, they was up by 19 points. I think they were up by 15 at the half, and then the early part of the third quarter they went up by 19 points. But at halftime, Ramsey and I, we always talk, at halftime before I head down to the media room, sharing our perspective on what was going on, and quite honestly, neither one of us was comfortable with that halftime lead because, of course, they're already on a 4-game losing streak, and we know that this team is historically known to bumble leads as they did in this game. I really felt comfortable about it. I just wanted to, nothing happened until the buzzer sound. And then I was Jay Gayton from CBS 13 is sitting in front of me, and he was offering all these type of scenarios, and the last one was the ultimate one. Oh, they're going to hit a basket. He was talking about Detroit. They're going to hit a basket. They're going to win. I didn't want to hear that. I didn't even respond to it. But that's exactly what happened. And then that last 3 minutes, they were up by 10 points, and you could just feel the gravity. You could feel the energy inside Golden One Center at this time. Everybody in the building is standing up. It's a sold out crowd. Okay, we're looking for this win. We thought we was going to pull this out. It's the fifth game. It's the fifth game of a fifth game homestand. This could be the defining moment, and maybe the Kings can turn things around. No, that was not to be, because Mike was right. There was a few ways that they lost that game, and Mike Beasley's job is to shoot threes, folks. And that's exactly what he's doing. He's knocking them down, and he brought it. It was just crazy, and you could just feel that lead slipping away. And what they got to do, I think Ivy hit a layup or something like that, and got them within one. It was 109 or 108. They come down, and then the Kings hit a basket. So they come back. Was it no? That's when Ivy hit the layup. I think that's what made it what. Kevin Huerter hit 2 free throws. Am I correct?
Yeah, he did.
Yes, he did. Yes. Yep.
Okay. So that gives them to 113. So I'm like, oh gosh, okay. All you got to do is foul. Put these guys online. I don't know what's going on in the huddle. I'm hearing everything afterwards and stuff. But like I said, you just feeling this lead get away. Now you're feeling that this victory is about to be snatched. And that's exactly what happened. Now, sitting in the media area, I'm standing up the whole time. That last 3 minutes, I was standing up. I wasn't sitting down, fiddling around with my reports, because I was writing a story and I'm keeping up, with the stats and all this and play-by-play. And so I'm standing up. I'm watching this game. Come on, let's pull this out. And the unthinkable happened. And I tell you, a lot of people, at least in the media, were referring it as, the worst game of the season. That's been one of the worst games in ages. I don't know when the last time Kings lost a game like that. But, yeah. And then here we are today, talking about, Mike Brown firing, considering what happened before that, early, after the media had met with him. And, it's just so crazy. It's just so bizarre. Now I'm hearing, I saw Mike Malone's presser.
Oh, he lives for that
no
stuff.
glass, no balls, or something like that. And it's like deja vu, because 10 years ago, this month, he was fired after 11-13 start. So now we're looking at, Mike with a 13-18 start of the season, and he's gone. So that's basically the range of emotions that I've been going through for the last 24 hours. And hey, I just wish all the best for Doug Christie and what he can do, and hopefully the team can get things around. Whether they win tomorrow, that's not really going to solve a whole bunch of things. They'll have to continue winning. But this is where we are as a journalist covering the Sacramento Kings, and then their fans who have to pay attention to one of their favorite teams here in town.
Yeah, man, watching that game, and it's kind of, hindsight being 2020. I think I'm with you, Tone. At halftime and even going into the third quarter, I think I made a comment in the Discord. I can't remember who's in there. Johnny G might have been in there, but I said, man, I don't equate the Detroit Pistons missing shots to the Kings playing good defense. I thought the Kings were playing with fire that whole game. The Pistons were missing wide open shots. And to the Kings' credit, they stayed ahead until they didn't. And then Detroit started hitting shots, and they were hitting those same wide open shots. The Kings were leaving them open, for defense. And it was just God, man, I mean, I hate to say, but you just saw it coming. You know, like when you said you were uncomfortable at halftime, 100%. Like you always have that at the back of your mind. It's like, man, if they keep playing like this, they're gonna lose. And you know, I don't know, man. I was at a loss for words. I wasn't even mad. Like I think Damian said the same thing. When I saw that shot go in, I saw him fouled. I was numb. I didn't even know what to think.
That's a good word, numb.
I was just like, okay. Me and my kids turned the TV off, and it was like nothing to say. I was just mad
There was
all
nothing
day.
to say. There's actually nothing to say. I totally agree with you. It's just I was stunned. I was numb. You know, we're not supposed to be cheerleaders or anything like that. And trust me, and I hope everybody understand that. You know, I cover the team objectively, but you know, I do have some subjective opinions about it. If so, I will say so. I'll say it so in a commentary and things like that. But this is just what they've been going through for the last couple of weeks. We just wanted to see them, you know, get ahead, you know, get that victory and move on. Try to string together a few more. That's all we been looking for that's just was not meant to be. It was not meant to be.
What was I'm curious because, you know, this morning before everything, right? Or even last night, the big conversation was the Fox presser, right?
Yes. Now, understand that I go to both pressers as much as possible. So, you know, the Detroit Piston presser was not, you know, only a few feet away, a few yards away. So I went to listen to J.B. Bickerstaff first. And I think he spoke for about 4 or 5 minutes. There wasn't that many people in the press there talking, except me and Hunter Patterson, who now covers the Detroit Pistons. Remember, he was covering the Kings last year. Now he's with living in Detroit covering the Pistons. So I get back to the King side for Mike Brown's presser news conference, and I heard about the last 3 seconds of it. And then that's when they brought De'Aaron in. And of course, you know, they're going to ask him, you know, about that foul, which he was asked, and the little nonchalant answer probably wasn't the response that everyone was looking forward to, because I myself was looking for a little accountability in that, you know, foul the man, you know, and give him the game-winning shot, 4-point play, and the only thing that you have to say about it that it's not going to make anybody feel better. Oh well, it was just, and I understand, you know, and the reason why I say that because everybody know how De'Aaron is, you know, during these press conferences. I don't know whether he wants to do them or not. I don't think any of the players really want to sit there and talk to us, and some of the questions are repetitive, and some of them maybe don't make sense to them, you know, or not. But that's just the nature of the game. You know, part of your job is you do have to come out and talk to press, especially if you practice, especially if you play. But I've seen that he has matured in that area. You know, I mean, he barked at me a couple of times when he was a little bit younger, you know, the first few years, about a question that he didn't agree or didn't like the way I fielded it or something like that. But this was just one of those cases, you know, this presser that could you, and it's just my opinion, could you show a little accountability? Okay, it wasn't all your fault that you lost the game. We understand that. But that was the last play of the game. That was the last, it was 3 seconds left on the clock. Okay. Would have been an ultra magnificent feeling if you had hit that 53-footer at the end of the game at the buzzer, you know,
right, to
win it. We'll probably be talking about that tonight stuff. But it was just really tough though. But I do have to admit, you know, there was a couple good questions about that after the game. So, and that's just the way it shook out and stuff. But so now we're in a situation where, okay, Mike Brown is gone, and De'Aaron Fox is still wearing a Sacramento Kings uniform. We don't know what's going to happen, you know, between now and him signing an extension or a contract or being traded, whatever. He's still in the Sacramento Kings uniform, and I expect him to do a lot better. I expect all of them to do a lot better. At least respect Doug Christie in that way, and give it your all and try to put together some wins and stuff. But that was a tough presser for him. I understand. There's been the practice before that, the day before the practice, he had made some comments about whether the team quit on him and nothing like that. I know he didn't want to talk about it, but he responded to it in his own way, things like that. Understand that. You say your piece, and then you move on. But how that plays out in front of the fans and the spectators, they want to hear something a little bit more positive.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, then they'll give you a break. Okay, we understand. Thank you for sharing that with us. Move on. So it's still a learning process for him too. He has calmed down a lot, as I said. Over the past few years, these guys are always going. DeMar even said it. We're always going to have, some type, not issues with the press, but say something that they don't like or we don't like or something like that. There's always going to be like that, though. So you just take it as it comes and stuff like that. But let's just see what happens next, because the next time we get out in front of the scrum, at least the Sacramento Kings scrum, is definitely going to be a little bit different because you got another coach, and you're still a Sacramento King player yourself. So let's see what happens with it. We won't see him until Monday, December the 3rd anyway. Mm-hmm. So I know Jason Anderson down there in L.A. Covering it for the Sacramento Bee. So he'll get the first crack at it, and we'll see how he responds to this firing.
So there's multiple layers there, right? One thing I will say about Fox, and I thought I slept on it a little bit on what me and David had a conversation, and I probably reversed a little bit in my head about it. Like, I get that, I get the whole accountability thing, I get the even if, for the better lack of the term, the appeasing the fan base and giving some kind of comforting answer, right? I also think the flip side of that is, I think it's a lot to ask somebody, and maybe because he doesn't wear his emotions outwardly as much as a lot of people would take that as not feeling it inside, when I think he does. Like, I think he does feel the weight of this franchise on his back in a lot of different ways. And I think also, like, with the game being so fresh, like, there's not many answers he can, like, I get it, he can give the spiel, right? But I also think there is a rawness to being like, bro, like, what do you want me to say? Like, I can't change anything. Like, what is, it is. I know people want to hear the apology. I know people want to hear, we'll be better. We just got to come out the next game and play better and all that good stuff. But we've been hearing that spiel for a while now. Like, I personally didn't need to hear that. Like, at that point, I was already numb. Maybe that was a better word, David. Like, I was thinking, like, I'm already numb to the responses anymore. Like, bro, just come out the next game. You don't even got to be at that presser as far as I'm concerned. Like, I know it's part of the job, Tom, and I get that for you guys. But, like, there's nothing you going to tell me. There was nothing he was going to say that was going to be like, all right, cool. Like, it ain't cool. Like, none of this is cool. None of what's going on right now. Right? Like, you did a rookie move, but at the same time, I thought, like, y'all should have never been in that position in the first place. Like, with this, to begin with. Like, nobody, but it is what it is. And, like, and now with Mike gone, there's even more pressure on De'Aaron, right? Because now, like, you really got the way to, like, now it's Chris. Now here comes Doug. And this is obviously, we don't know what's going to happen at the end of the year, but this is basically, and whether they like it or not, this is Doug's audition. If the team takes off at some point and they get to the playoffs, God willing, and make a splash, like, you got no choice but to give Doug the job at that point. He turned it around, this and that, whatever. Cool. And obviously, I think as an ex-player, as a hard-nosed player, as a guy that never backed down from nobody, like, if there's one person that's in that house that can kind of get their attention, I assume it's Doug. Like, he has the respect. He has, he's been there. He's been gone to wars with this franchise. Like, there's a lot there that he demands. Like, but it's also, so did Brown. Brown did a lot of things in his career with that same kind of, faux pas, and they didn't respond to that. And like Damian said today, like, who the hell are you guys to tune out this dude? Like, what have you guys done in your careers to be able to say, you just going to tune this dude out and do what you want to do and not respond to defensive assignments, not get the details in. So like, man, like you said, man, like ain't no like a lot of crappy teams come out the next game and blow out teams by 20, 25, whatever, and then they go back to whatever they were at some point because that's what they are. You know what I'm saying? So like, I'm sure it'll be a lot of adrenaline tomorrow. A lot of things are gonna, you know, and even if they win, nobody's gonna sit here after they win. If they win tomorrow and be like, I guess it's all right. Ain't shit all right.
No,
there's a lot not right, and
still got a lot of work ahead.
A lot of work.
I'll say this too, Manny. Get back, to the De'Aaron issue. The thing is, I think what people are looking for in these type of situations, as far as accountability, is showing some leadership. I've worked with some really bad editors over the years. I worked with some really great editors who I did not like, but they were some of the best editors that I work with. And if they ask me, something about a question about a story, I got to fill them in about these type of things. And I have to be ultra correct and get my report out. I mean, as far as, grammar, sequence of events, I'm just throwing out some situation and dates, and times stuff, because I've been a couple times when, I've left out a date or I incorrectly wrote about a time and it threw the whole story off. So I have to go back and tell these people, look, my bad, that was on me. Okay, I take full accountability. That was a little incompetent of what happened. Boom, boom, boom. I'm moving on. Okay, all right. Let's work all together so we can make this better, so these things don't happen. So whatever way that De'Aaron wants to respond to this thing, he's his own man. He just turned 27. Cool, all right. But it's just some points where it's not all about you, man. And I'm not saying he's being selfish or anything like that.
Right.
You got some people who depend on you. All right. Everybody got a job to do. Okay. So when you block your job, that's what I'm saying, even in journalism or whatever job that you have. Okay. Something go down and you're responsible for it. Please share with us. That way we can move on. That's part of the growth part, and that's part of the bonding part, especially when you're working with team of players. And they don't only have to be athletes, okay? It could be a team of engineers, journalists, judges, lawyers, whatever, okay? So we make sure that we're all on the same page. Nobody expected that to happen to De'Aaron Fox last night. No one. But it did, okay? We have to live with it. It's in the books. We move on. But just, when you get to these type of points, these areas in your life and stuff like that, I'm just throwing some advice out here, okay? Just take some accountability and move on. And yes, you are right. Whatever Damien said, I didn't get listen to the show a lot yesterday. But yeah, tuning somebody out and things like that is only going to make it worse. And that's exactly if that's what was done. Mm-hmm. I don't know all the stories of what went on behind the scenes or anything like that. But if that was the case, you got some issues. But I will say this, okay, because 17,000 other people saw that Sunday in that Indiana game. You were tied 52-52. And then you just went flat in the second half. Something's wrong. We know this team is better than that.
Right.
Much talented than that. Something is wrong. Okay. Some would say Mike should have got fired right after that game. Okay. Because to be honest, you lost the locker room somewhere. I don't know where, but you did. You did. Okay. And then you did a shoddy job of trying to put things together. I mean, that even in that same deal, you're not going to pay Keon Ellis. You're going to put him in a garbage time.
Right.
Something's wrong here. Okay? And
even in that last
when
play,
you need
John.
defense.
Even in that last play.
That was Rick Carlisle for Indiana was talking about those certain things. When I need a bucket, I got to put my offensive guys in there. When I need somebody, to give me some stops, I'll put my defensive guys in there. You left your defensive guy on the bench. I have to say something about that. Okay? And I think I've said it on the show before. We praise you when you are doing well. We most definitely going to criticize you when you're screwing up. Okay? That was bad too. Might come out today before we knew about the firing. He take accountability of his things, say he got to do better and all. He did that because we acknowledged what was going on with these coaching setbacks, if you want to call it that and stuff. But hey, he lost control of that locker room somewhere. When it happened, I don't know if we ever happened, but this is where we are right now. I don't really agree with firing coaches like this. I don't like this coaching carousel that the Sacramento Kings, this method of operation that they got going on. Okay, because here we are again, and now you got another interim coach, and who knows what's going to happen after that? After the season or whatever. But this is just where we are as far as covering this organization. And I'm not saying it's difficult or frustrating or anything like that, but this is just where we are. We notice the pattern of these, these type of issues that happen with this, with the Sacramento Kings over the year. Okay, Luke Walton was fired. Paul Westphal was fired. Reggie Theus was fired. Okay, Musselman, way back in the day, he was fired. All right, Dave Yeager fired. Okay, some of these guys, they lasted, a full season. Some of them knew they were going to be fired at the end of the season and didn't give a damn. Okay, that's just what we're dealing right here. Okay, the Sacramento Kings probably done circled every other team in the association as far as firing. Probably 3-1.
I don't doubt that. I think going back to the presser, Manny, and Manny, again, I did the same thing as you. I think going back, and thinking about what we were talking about, I think I actually agree with you that.
Hell no.
No, I think that in one part. No matter what De'Aaron was going to say, people wanted to hear something. And a lot of fans just wanted a piece of somebody. After a game like that. The only I think issue that I had was that when De'Aaron goes up there as the leader, as the veteran, and you're asked a specific question, give a specific answer. If we didn't even get, if he was pissed off and he didn't want to answer it, we didn't get that. We got a nonchalant kind of BS answer out of him, and that's kind of what my issue was. He didn't, like as Tone say, take accountability for it. He just kind of, it's not going to make anybody feel better. And, you were asked a specific question. I think that's more of my frustration with it. And as far as, organizationally, when we found out, I don't know, man, it's just a bad look all the way around because when we found out how Mike was fired. Now, let's say that Vivek, as an owner, that's given the benefit of the doubt and says he's not making all basketball decisions. But what he does control is how you treat people. And Mike was fired, by all reports, by a phone call on his way to the airport. That's on Vivek. That's on Vivek right there. That's 100%
bad.
On the owner, and that was a classless.
That
move.
Was unclassy. That was unclassy. If that's how it went down, that's disrespectful.
Right. And
that's disrespectful.
The
fact that you was in front of the media too.
Exactly. Made him have practice. Had practice and met with the media, and then you fire him over the phone.
And not only that, but the ripple effects of you. First of all, you're already under the gun as being the Sacramento Kings, right? With the history. Now, one of the most revered coaches in general, like he's very well liked throughout the coaching community, Absolutely. Very much loved throughout the league. You just treated him like a piece of shit. And how you think other coaches going to respond at the offseason if you're looking for a good coach, a veteran coach, let's just say, who the hell going to want to come here and go under that same microscope and have to deal with that? Obviously you could throw money around, but hell, he ain't thrown money around the last 2 years other than DeMar. So is he going to throw money at another coach? Because I'm sure a lot of veteran coaches took notice of what happened today. And if that's what happened, again, it's reports, right? We don't know officially, but if that's what happened, that's a bad look for this organization. Really that's already considered an incompetent organization.
It really is. I don't know. I have never. I mean, I've heard of coaching firings on Christmas. What was that? Mike White for the Raiders many years ago got fired on Christmas by Al Davis. Okay, all right. that's crucial. Okay, but something like this too. I'm not saying this. I would equate this with Mike White's situation. This is just totally bizarre, and that was what really was getting. Why you do it that way?
Right.
Okay, all right. We walk in there. We were supposed to be on that floor in the practice facility approximately just 5 minutes past noon. Okay, but I think it took us about 35 minutes. We probably got in there about 1 o'clock. And as soon as we walk in, we see everything's going on. Domantas Sabonis is nowhere in sight. And then, boom, all eyes was on Mike and De'Aaron Fox way on the far side of the court having a little conversation. Okay, and you could see De'Aaron, responding with, a couple nods, blah, blah, blah. And then they depart. Okay. I think it was who was the first? DeMar comes up, he speaks to us for a couple minutes. Then Keegan, he runs up to us, say his spiel, telling us, De'Aaron did have a conversation with the team wide, and what form or fashion, he didn't explain that. They didn't go into a whole bunch of detail. Then here comes Mike Brown. All right. And that went on for about 14, 15, 16 minutes. The way he was talking, if you see the videos that's all been posted out there was no way to detect that this man was going to be fired like 5 minutes after that presser and stuff. Okay, so then you hear, I'm riding down the street. Mike Brown, what? Mike Brown is fired. Okay, now, immediately I thought that's kind of disrespectful. You gonna put him out in front of the media? I mean, unless you didn't want to fire him before we came in there and start asking questions, that could be part of the play too. But it was just so unclassy, folks, the way they did. And of course, I speak out on that. We don't have all the details. These things will emerge at some point. But the optics of it, not only for the city of Sacramento, the fans, spectators, okay, the player, the organization, but yes, the rest of the nation is watching this. We already got a bad reputation. Okay, people like to dump on us about everything. Now, for this, okay, how would you proceed to go through an interview for the head coaching job of the Sacramento Kings? My first thing is like, hey, are you going to fire me like that if anything go down like that? Right. Let me know, okay, so I can be prepared to be somewhere else, okay, because I'm moments from getting on this plane, headed down to LA, and we just got done practice, and boom. Okay. Now the shining moment here, silver lining. Mike got $30 million in the bag.
Yeah, he did.
Okay.
Yeah, he did.
He can't be feeling too bad. All right. You got some guaranteed money coming your way. All right. On the flip side, here we go. We're paying another coach, not the coach.
Kangs.
Well, another thing too, Tono, I guess this is a question I have for you. Depending on what happens with this roster and what, Monty and Vivek decide to do, are they going to put Doug in the best position to succeed?
No.
I mean, are they going to, depending on what they do, is this, I'm hoping that the team responds to him. So, I mean, we all want Doug to do well now. He is the interim coach. I want to see him get a fair crack at this. But again, I'm hoping that they have the foresight to actually put him in a position to succeed, not, just run it back with the status quo and hope that he does better. So I don't know. In your opinion, do you think they can do that, or do you think they will? That's a
great question. That's a great question. Sometimes I wish some of the fans, particularly this trio right here, could sit in those pressers and field questions, something similar to that, because. Obviously we got some people think they know it all about this stuff, but we really do have to listen to the fans when they ask questions like that. I really do hope that they put him in the best position to win. Okay, I think you already mentioned the two-manning too up front, but because I don't think, and I know it was just the summer league when it was coaching the California Classic. Doug did not have a point guard. That's why that team struggled over the summer. Okay. Give him a point guard, and I bet you he can roll. All right. So what am I saying? Okay, you got to put him in in this position now because with the big club. You got to put him in a position where he can win and he can land that job. He still so he can remove that interim tag. Put the right people around him. We already know this team is struggling. In that bench unit, 27th in the league in points, 25.2 points a game and stuff. So Doug got to work to see where he can get some more point productions from that bench. Okay, he got to see when he can rest these guys, the starters that is, at the proper time. He got to do all these things as far as management. And I hope the coaching staff is on board with this as well. But it's not going to work if they don't put him in the right position. I mean, of course you want that opportunity and stuff, but you got to put him in the right position. If there's another trade out there that you can do, and I've always been saying this too, okay, the Sacramento Kings is not the Dallas Mavericks compared to what they did, when they brought in P.J. Washington and a Gafford from the district, Washington, D.C., okay? This is a total new makeup, okay? They do have to address those needs that they've been trying to address for the last 6, 7, 8 months. If they can do that between now or the deadline or whatever, put the man in the right position so he has an opportunity to win. So he can show you his coaching abilities, okay, to make this good for the organization, for the city, for the fans. Good question.
Well, I'll say this about that is I think they will try to make some moves, and it's not for the right reasons. I think it behooves them to have Christie be successful because at the end of the year, if he's successful, that's a coach that they don't have to pay as much as a veteran coach no matter what. So Christie will get a head coaching contract that's going to be more on the lower end of a head coaching contract because it's his first job. If he's not successful, they're going to have to go out there, and if they really want to coach, and if, let's say, Fox is still here, and we can talk about that in a minute, but they're going to have to pay somebody some buku money to come in, especially after that fiasco. They're really going to have to pay somebody to convince them to come in here and coach this team, and they're going to be on the hook for a lot of money just on coaching contracts alone. So it only behooves them to have Christie be successful so that they can be some cheap asses and give him a lower tier contract, and he'll be the next coach, and they'll move on with that. So, yeah. I mean, it only benefits all around.
But here's the deal, though, as far as what's going to be beneficial. Monty McNair and Wes Wilcox, they're on the clock too.
Yeah, they are.
Okay, you're not out the woods because you made this move. All right, you left some holes in this team this past summer. I'm not saying Devin Carter was a bad selection or anything like that. I think it was more analytics, pick him than anything. Well, then the eye test too, because I still watch some of his videos and things. But you didn't address those needs. Okay, those needs are still lingering. Post player, a 3-and-D guy. Okay, that's on management. That's on the GMs. They got to fix this because you're on the clock too. All right, and normally when these types of things, and I don't want to, people got families and things. They're already, established right here in River City, in the city of trees and things like that. You don't want to see people get fired or anything like that. But they have to do their job. They must do their job. Because if you walk, then that gives Vivek Ranadive to get a chance to get another GM, and that's going to be difficult as well too, folks, and another coach. And that GM will be able to pick out his coach that he wants to come in. So it's a lot riding on these next 51 games, and it all starts with Monty McNair and Wes Wilcox. And that's just flat out the facts, folks. I think everybody understands that. So yeah. It's man.
Look at Tasha's so speechless over there. You don't know what to say.
Say something, Tosh.
Like you said it earlier, numb. That's exactly how to put it. Numb. I watched the game last night. Once again, I didn't go to the game so that they could win, but clearly that wasn't the answer. And then I rewatched the game.
What?
I rewatched the game.
You're a sicko.
Right?
You're a sicko.
I didn't expect this. I mean,
I watched part of the first game, the first half, because I want to see why De'Aaron only scored 1 point in that first half. He just went off in the second half and stuff. So
Yeah.
that was something that I was paying attention. Of course, then I rolled it back up and watched those last few minutes and things. I haven't watched the full game yet. There,
Those
but I
last
understand
4 minutes.
those
They
last
were
4
in
minutes.
It was fourth quarter, 8 minutes in, 4 minutes left. It was terrible.
Tasha was so upset she took down all her Christmas stuff. Look, all of it gone after that game. F you, Christmas.
Like the Grinch came through there and just swooped up everything.
Just like one of those viral videos, just tossing stuff everywhere.
I'm telling you.
Ramsey's like, I'm out of here. I'm not dealing with that.
He brought Wendy Who in there for this caper. I'm taking everything. Yeah, I'm pretty sure a lot of fans that did something, out of frustration for that particular game. But we got to move on. Okay, they do have the Los Angeles Lakers tomorrow night. They have what? They're 3-0. They're down 3-0 to the Lakers. I hope they can pull this out this win, and get Doug off to a right start. It's not going to solve everything, but just to get Doug Christie off to a right start, because I'm looking forward to see what he can do, at the helm, and work as far as working with De'Aaron Fox and Sabonis, Malik. Just want to see how that goes, because he's a player coach now. Okay, he played the game. Now he's coaching, so there's going to be a different relationship going on. All right, and he doesn't help. Go ahead.
Oh no, I'm sorry, Tone. I'm sorry. I was just going to say, going back to what you were saying earlier, I'd actually be shocked if Monty didn't do something, because, like you were saying, I totally agree. I think he's on the hot seat now. This goes back to him now. Okay, you got rid of the coach. You assembled this roster. This is your team. You made the draft picks. This is, Manny did this thing a little while ago where he did the blame game. Is it the players? Is it the coach? Is it the GM? And, players and Monty have to be right up, pretty high on that list. I wouldn't have put Mike very high on that list, to tell you the truth. But anyway, and again, you would know better than us, Tone, but, do you kind of get the feeling that there might be an urgency now for him to actually do something now and complete, a roster, not overhaul, but something now? Because, again, I think he is on the hot seat now.
Yeah, he is on the hot seat, and it's been there for a while with him, too. Okay, like after the Indiana Pacer loss, we all knew that there had to be a change. And of course, we wouldn't look for any fire or anything like that. I'm looking for, a trade, bring in some reinforcements, bring in some more support, some more help. And the only person that can really do that is the GM. So if he wasn't on a hot seat before then, or at least through all those 5 home games losses, he is now. He is now, and I'm pretty sure he understands that too. Okay.
Oh, for
There's
sure.
conversations being had. Okay, and I can guarantee you, Vivek Ranadive is asking all type of questions. Why this is happening? Why this is not happening? Why? Same question that the fans are asking. Same question that the media asks. Okay, we're just not hearing it. But they're getting an earful. They look. You're on the clock. That's what.
Right.
That's what basically I'm telling you. You're on the hot seat. So we got to try to get this together, because we could talk about it a million times. There was great high expectations with this team, especially, the way DeMar DeRozan rolled into town. Okay, we was really looking good. We made the playoffs a couple years ago. Okay, we didn't make the playoffs last year. We made the play-in, which I still call postseason. Okay, but this season just had all type of potentials of going deep into the playoff. But what we're seeing, things that are not being addressed. Okay, as far as personnel, okay, postman, the 3-and-D guy. Okay, you're not good at defending the threes. Okay, for a minute you wasn't even making threes. All these type of deficiencies that's happening that held this team back. And what do they say is 3-11? That this team lost by 3 or less points or something like that.
Yep.
These type of issues. Okay, those things build up. Okay, and I don't like to ride into all the analytic stuff like that. I'm more about the eye test and things like that. But this is what these things are. These are fact. Okay, these are fact. So if you enjoy it, 51 games, still got a lot of room to do something.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you got another man in place. Okay, I would think that they're going to hold the current coaching staff in place. There won't be any movement, with that.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully they can bond together, coalesce around Doug and try to make some things happen with this thing. Also, because we're talking about Monty McNair, okay? De'Aaron, you're going to have to step it up too. De'Aaron Fox, okay? You're going to have to step. You're going to have to do your part too. All right? I was moved that game out the way last night, okay? Because I love this young man. Of course, we've been watching him, since he came in from Kentucky. We want him to do well, okay? He's going to go down as one of the best franchise players in the history of this organization. But now, okay, let's go. Okay, all system go. So I'm looking forward to see how he's going to respond to that.
So I'm going to take a page out of what you were saying, and they backed it up too, as leadership, right? And being accountable. I need Vivek to get in front of the media. I need Monty and Wes, not just Monty, because there's a two-headed dragon there. I need Monty and Wes to get in front of the media, and I need them to take the hard questions. I need them to answer the questions that need to be answered regarding this team right now, because all of them are culpable in some way or another. This isn't a lot of, not all the time, but there's sometimes where you can go to one thing and say that was the issue, or this player was an issue, or this coach was the issue. In this particular situation, everybody has their hand in the cookie jar. Everybody's done something that has helped get us to this point. Whether it's standing pat, whether it's drafting the wrong players, whether it's coaching, whether it's players not holding themselves accountable as much as they should, all that. So all these guys, I expect them in the next couple of days, whether they do or don't, who knows, but I expect them in the next couple of days, especially when they get back home, to get in front of the media and take some hard questions from you, from Sean, from everybody that's there, and answer them. Obviously sometimes you're going to get whatever answers you get, but you still have to answer the questions, because they're about to lose this fan base. The worst and the best thing they could have done is what they did 2 years ago. You know what I'm saying? It was the highest of the high, but at that point you set the bar. You set the bar what this fan base expected. You decided to raise the prices to the tickets for the next 2 years. You did all these things, and you haven't put forth the product to warrant all that. And like I said, the Detroit game was sold out.
Sold out, and I'm telling you, it was jumping. It was electrifying up in there, man.
I like it.
I like it when it's like that.
We all do.
Everybody looking for a victory. Okay, but those last three and a half minutes, those fans, those spectators were into it. Love that. I just love being around that too.
Man,
I wanted them to have that win as much as possible. And I'm talking subjectively, but yes, it meant that. But yeah. I would think, Manny, Dave, Tasha, that they will have a press conference here soon. I don't know if it's going to be an introductory press conference for Doug, okay, but some form of press conference to provide those answers, for the people that it really counts, the fans. Okay, so we can get an idea where their head's at, what they're doing, and what they're trying to do. Okay, because trust me, I got some questions. I got a question. Of course, I'm not just gonna ram them down their throat and stuff like that. I try my best. If you listen to it, I do try my best to be ultra respectful in posing these questions and things like that. But they do have to answer at some point. When, I don't know, but I really do hope soon. You are right about that, Manny. They got to get out in front and let us know what's happening there, and that does mean these GMs and definitely the principal owner Vivek Wanadive.
Especially the way today went, because they look like the Bears. I said this. I went on with D-Lo and Casey earlier today when they did their live, and this reminded me absolutely of the Sunday of the Bears massacre after Thanksgiving, where they let dude go out on a press conference high and dry and then fired him after that. The ineptness of the organization Like, it's bad enough where they're at, but you just made it worse by the way that you conducted yourself. Now you got to go out and say something. Whether it's you give, like, again, the whole, my favorite word, the spiel. Whether you give everybody a spiel, it is what it is. But you got to go out there and at least face the music. The Green Mile is right there. The Green Mile is right there.
Yes.
So
it's only one path.
There's only one path. So,
yeah. But hey, oh man, I don't know, man. I mean, it's just really unfortunate. This whole thing is just really unfortunate. So, if we got to put them on that Green Mile, to make them understand, because you're right, man. That 17,000 can reduce fast to 10,000.
Yes, it can.
In G1C. Okay. All right. The ticket's already high. You start giving away for $5 and things like that because people don't like your product.
Mm-hmm.
Period. Or they don't like the way you're treating people, like how this thing was handled. Okay. And that's just embarrassing, man. You just embarrassed a man. Basically, if you ask me, put them on that green. Put them on the Green Mile so we can get because if you would ask me, it was almost intentional to do it that way.
Right.
Okay. Otherwise,
that's
as soon as he got to work this morning, you had to lay down the law and say, hey, Mike is not working out. We're going to have to make a separation. Okay. Just like anybody else would do it professionally, because that was not done professionally.
He was in the facility.
A professional way.
Right there for you.
You wait for him to get on the freeway, hop on the freeway, drive up to the airport, and that's a short drive. That's not very far. Like, really?
Yeah, from downtown Sacramento. Yeah.
Yep.
Less than 10 minutes. Am I right?
This was Monty when Mike walked by his office. He let him walk by, and then he called. Then he called him. And he turned off the light. He turned off the lights.
Stop, man! Stop.
Come on, man.
Nobody's
Come
here.
on. Ain't nobody here. Mike knocking on his door. Mike knocking on his door to say goodbye.
Location.
Mike knocking on his door just to say goodbye. Come on, man.
Oh man, but that was embarrassing though, man. That was embarrassing. There's another word for it too, but that'd be disrespectful if I say anything like that. But that was embarrassing, man. We'll find out all the details at some point, why they did this, but that's one of those questions that need to be asked. Dave, what's going on here? Okay, what's going on here? Why did you do it that way? Okay, that's more compelling than anything. The firing is one thing, okay, but the way you did it,
right? Why
did you do it that way? Okay, I know I would be embarrassed. Okay, yes, I got $30 million in my pocket. I'll get over it.
But he's a prideful man.
I'll go on vacation and stuff like that. I'll get another job, and I still got $30 million. Well, $20 million after taxes. Okay, so but
we are in California.
We are in California.
That's true.
California hit harder than any other state in the country when it comes to professional
You got to tell me, dude.
But yes, it's they got some tough questions, and I'm pretty sure they're preparing themselves for it right now. I know I would, because they're coming. They're coming, and then they got some old hard, tough questions that they have to address too. That's been lingering on for a few months as well. At least after the season ended, the campaign season ended last season. About addressing their needs that they did not do. That they did not do. So yeah, it's coming here pretty soon. I know tomorrow night I'm going to G1C because the Stockton Kings will be playing there, and Devin Carter is supposed to make a quote unquote debut, at least on the G League level. So want to go down there and see how he looks. See how see what he got. I know it's going to be a lot of butterflies turning around in his stomach and things like that. But now it's time to go. And the reason why I say that because I think he's a little bit ahead of schedule.
He is.
Okay? I wasn't really expecting him to like the middle of January, another 2 or 3 weeks. So it'll be pretty interesting to see, how this shakes out tomorrow. After that game tomorrow, and which leads right on up to the Kings and Lakers, because I think this game started at 5:00. Do you want to see something?
That puts a little knife in it too. Like, oh, Mike's gone. Hey, Mike, what'd you think of Devin Carter? Oh, my bad. Like, he just like, come on, man.
Yeah. Now, who would we ask about that? Now, well, I guess we would have to ask Doug Christie about that. But yeah, yes, we'll see. I mean, at least for the one, and I'll mention it again. We'll hear a lot more, at least something that's going on, because hopefully, and I'm pretty sure Jason Anderson will go to that shoot around tomorrow. I don't know if he even left yet. Maybe he's leaving tomorrow. Whatever. We're going to hear some more things, and we should be channeled through Jason Anderson from Sacramento Bee. So we should be getting some updates, and I'm sure the LA media down there. They got a pretty large media corps, because I see them every time, they come around. Especially, they spent 3 or 4 days up here, when the Lakers played here. They're gonna be firing away some questions. Okay, and these bigger markets, media corps, they don't be playing around with that soft stuff. Okay,
Tone.
It's a firing squad. It's a firing squad. Okay, New York, Chicago. Hey. These guys that are really sharp and keen at asking their questions. They don't ask them twice either.
Man, I can tell you during.
And then, ESPN and all of them, they're going to be there. They'll be there for Doug's presser as well and stuff. So we get some more details in the next 18 to 24 hours, sure.
And not only that, but I think in the next months to come, the way it works nowadays. Well, you're gonna start hearing the little things that nobody knows about now. About these little, everything leaks out eventually. Like you might hear about Mike had beef with so and so, or there was this point in time where this incident happened. That all that stuff ends up leaking out.
It's
eventually.
Coming out.
Yeah,
I don't know what it is. I don't know, where it developed, where it started. Because I do know one thing: you lost control of that locker room. So something was going on, and my biggest sign was, because you already know that you're losing halftime at Indianapolis. I call it Indianapolis Pacers. I'm from the Midwest. Something happened. Or something happened before that. It's all gonna come out. Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe somebody was in there throwing blows. I don't know, but we're gonna find out some details, because all behind that is the way you fired this guy.
Right.
Okay. You're basically trying to send a message to him. Oh, we're going to fire you. We're going to do it this way. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. You didn't catch me before I left the building and call me up to the office, nothing like that. You waited till I stepped into my car, okay, and drove north on I-5, headed to the airport. Boom, you're fired. Don't get on that plane.
Bruh.
Sometimes, though, man, I don't know. It's just from a fan's point of view, man. It's just sometimes this organization has no self-awareness. For whatever you want to say about Mike Brown, he's respected around the league. He's a good guy. He's known for being a good coach. Whether you think he's a championship level coach or not or whatever, and to like I was saying earlier, to treat this guy like this and to fire him this way, that's on Vivek, man. And that's, man, when you were talking about who I want to hear from, man, I want to hear from him, because. Yes. This wasn't this to me, that didn't seem like a basketball move. Of course it was, but what I mean by that is this was almost a personal thing, man, to do it this way. You know what I'm saying? And that's how it feels to a fan. So,
that's why I say something happened. Something somewhere happened there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Something somewhere happened, because it was that's cold-blooded, man.
Absolutely.
That's cold-blooded. Like I said, there had to be a message sent. Not only are we going to fire you, we're going to do it this type of way. Okay, we're going to do it this way. So unclass. And if you don't like it, so bad. So what? You got $30 million. So have a good time and stuff. But yeah, it'll come out there. But the owner does have everything to say about this, So hopefully he'll step forward and provide some answer. I spoke to Vivek, huh?
My bad, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Oh, yeah, I'm just saying, I spoke to Vivek on several occasions. It's not accessible as it used to be, but he will stop and take time, have a personal conversation with you and everything. And I expect, that type of respect as well. But as far as the business of this organization, definitely would like to hear from him and, get his perspective on things to see what direction he wanted his team to go. Because here we are, 13 and 18, and you let the coach go and you gave him a 2-year extension over the summer. That's not a good look for the rest of the league, as you said, Dave. That's not a good look. Okay. All right. Oh, they're going to tear us up Monday on all those national shows.
Right.
Okay. They're already doing it right now. I've been watching the Sacramento Kings did this. It's a trash organization. It's already coming out.
That's what kills me. I said this earlier, like, we spent the whole summer and preseason, right? All of us, whether it was Dave, we talked about this, Katrina, and in the Chatty house, and D'Lo, we talked about F you Kevin O'Connell, F you this guy, F you, off you don't know what you're talking about, blah, blah, blah. And then for them to be right and we look like the assholes, right? We look like
that's what
you don't know what the hell, right? So, I don't like when you don't, look, it's bad. Look, I know cereal and I know basketball. And you made me look like an asshole on one out of the two. All I got left is cereal. That's it. What the hell?
That's not a good place to be, man.
I'm hitting 500.
Okay, that's not a good. I'm almost compelled to tell you, Manny, to go get you a bowl of Cheerios or something like that and calm down.
After this,
I understand the frustration, though. I really do. I do.
After this show, I'm gonna be crying, eating a bowl of cereal for like 3 hours. I'm gonna just keep pouring, and I don't know, man.
Hey, we want this team to do well, man. I can say that from a professional and a personal perspective too. We want this team to do well, but if you're messing up, I'm gonna have to criticize you. Okay, if you're doing well, I will give you accolades and stuff like that. I will give you credit for that. But the organization is not doing it any good justice right now. Okay, but you know what they say though, winning solves everything. So let's hope that they can get together and at least get to 500 and get back over 500. That's at least what I'm looking for.
I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Tone, quick question for you. You being the veteran you are, and you've been around this organization and other professional sports, and again, just having that experience. How does this compare to like any other like situations that you've been around? Like, I mean, does this seem like as dysfunctional, or does this seem as bad as some of the things in the past, or is just this
I would say
happened, or just what have you seen? And how does this compare?
I appreciate the question. The Raiders. I think from like 2004, 2005 to like 2018, 2019, I was covering the Raiders and all the issues that they were going through, and not making the playoffs and personnel decisions and things, but not as bad as what we're seeing right now with the Kings, though. And the Raiders are still in that tough spot too, Dave. You know what I mean? But the Raiders, most of those times that I was doing it, of course, they were in Oakland. I've only seen a couple games in Vegas, and one of them was when John Gruden got fired. I was there when he said he didn't. There wasn't any more emails coming out about his insensitive remarks against people of color or anything like that, which was really, really bad because the next day he got fired. But there's just been other situations with the Raiders and them not winning, and players giving up on the team and things like that, and coaching firings. I wasn't around with the Mike White firing and stuff, but things like that. But other than that, I haven't seen anything so dysfunctional as far as what's happening right here. Okay, and I have a lot of respect for the people who run the organizations, but it's in some troubled time right now. Okay, and the reason why I say that, because yes, there are other people, Dave, that is nationally making themselves look good talking about this organization. Okay, and I do spend a lot of time defending. Okay, but no, it's not too many more organizations on the sports end than the Raiders that I could say that been through all these type of pains,
Wow.
trying to keep the organization running afloat, trying to be professional about it, trying to win, mold it into a winning organization. And I know that has been the case here, but it's just not working. We probably should be talking about going into our third playoff
Right.
season. Okay, that means last year, of course, we already made it one. After ending the drought. Okay, but it's still these things. Okay, that's going on. I could say so many things about the Sacramento Kings. As I already mentioned about the previous firings, bad contracts. Okay, bad trades, bad drafting. It's bad, a lot of bad, but not a lot of good these days. But I still believe in this organization. I still believe in this season. I still think that they can turn things around. Doug Christie is at the helm right now, and I think everybody, as I said before, should circle around him, give him the support that he needs, and give him the personnel that tweaks that he needs to get this thing started off on the right foot. I still believe in this organization.
From what you've
That's all I can
seen,
say.
real quick, and I know we're probably up against it now, and everyone's.
You're good, bro. We gonna go.
Quick question. From your perspective and you being around the players and everything, how do the players view Doug?
With the utmost respect. Okay, I don't know. I mean, Luke Lout is great with De'Aaron Fox. We hear all these things. Dutch Gailey when he was here, those type of things, and Trion, Jay Triano. These guys are great, but I don't think, say like, De'Aaron was telling he had these conversations. Maybe he was working on some techniques with Doug Christie. I don't know, but when they were talking about the things about collecting steals, okay, then the next thing De'Aaron's like, well, I want to do that, and the next thing he can really play defense, okay, because that's part of stealing the ball, and then the next thing he leads the league in steals. Okay, I like to give Doug Christie a lot of credit for inspiring him to do those types of things. That's why I think, like I said, Doug got a point guard now, which he did not have during the summer camps, summer leagues and stuff, and he got one of the top point guards in the league. That with this guy, he can change things around. I think he's really an impactful player. The other coaches, Barbosa, I see Doug talking to Barbosa all the time, so I know they're really good friends. And I think the feeling is mutual too. I think it's going to be okay if they don't do too many tweaks with that coaching staff. There's not much more that you want to do, and I don't know if they want to spend any more money bringing in any more coaches right now when you just let the head coach go and he got a $30 million bag and stuff like that. But I do believe that they can invest themselves into Doug to try to make this happen, because there's a lot of people jobs on the line right now, not just what's going on with Doug and stuff. Okay, because a lot of these people Mike Brown brought in, okay, they were handpicked by him, practically all of them. Okay, so we'll see with that coaching staff what they have to bring. Now they're in a different situation, okay, because Doug is the head of the snake, but can't do it by himself. Okay, so hopefully they can hold on to those type of relationships and they can make this work. On top of that, okay, if that's going to be the case, who's going to be Doug's associate head coach, going forward? Is that going to be Luke? Okay, is that going to be Jay Triano? Okay, those questions have to be answered too and stuff. But I'm sure they're ready to work with him. They've been working with him for the past couple seasons, 3 seasons actually, many of them. So we'll see how that pans out. But I think he should get the most support out of him, Dave.
So let me ask you a question real quick. Do you think, and you don't have to answer this question because I know your position, everything, but do you think Fox was consulted at all before they made this decision?
That's Manny. I have no idea.
I know you don't know. Yeah, I know.
I mean, I don't know who was consulted on as far as a player or any player or a coach in the staff. I don't know. I would like to know though how the news was broke to Doug Christie.
Yeah.
Okay. Of course, Monty probably had to say, look, we did this, we did that, and you're the man and stuff like that. But as far as anybody, contacting any of those players before that happened, I think that all the players was on the plane, right? I think they were already there, boarding on the plane or something like that. So they're probably just as stunned as anybody else. I would think so, but I don't know if anybody had been consulted.
So, on that note, I just think in this current, the way the NBA is now, it's a players' league, right? We all know that, and it's also a clutch league. Like they have a very firm grip, it seems like, on their clients, and when something needs to be done, it gets done.
It gets done.
And I feel like something this monumental for this particular organization, like we don't know right now, but if you didn't go to De'Aaron and at least try to read the temperature of him before you made this move, you did the organization, you did the fans, you did everybody a disservice. Because if he flips the F out, that's on you. I hope this wasn't I don't know if they could have gone to him and be like, what do you think? They're like, y'all do whatever you got to do, or whether he said no, I don't know. None of us know, but
no.
I just feel like when you got your star players should have been at least talked to at some point before you became to this conclusion.
Well, that's a good point, though. I mean, because from my understanding, De'Aaron was in on the hiring. He approved the hiring of Mike Brown, okay, before he was actually hired. Okay, he wanted this guy. So to leave him in the dark and not consult him, we'll see how De'Aaron reacts to that. I don't. Maybe they did. Maybe they didn't let him know. What was going to take place. Okay? Yeah. We sure in the hell didn't know. None of us. There was no indication whatsoever. So it may have been nothing there when those players got on that plane, including De'Aaron Fox. So I know I'm talking about the future, and I don't want to put too much bearing on that. But those things will shake itself out when we find out those details. But I do appreciate the question. But I think they should have did a better job of how they did this firing. I could understand him being fired, but the way they did it, okay?
Yeah.
If they did consult,
that's what it is,
or whatever, it's just the way they did it that is so puzzling right now.
Yeah. Because we all know the coaches first.
You embarrassed that man. That's what you did.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. You sent a message. So I don't know if he did anything to anybody in that organization for you to do something like that, but you sent a message when you did that. Okay. All right. You could have told me before I left. I said it again. Before I left this building. Before I left the practice facility. Okay. Hit it on up north. Boom. I'm fired.
Bro.
Okay.
That's what it is.
I really appreciate all the things that Mike has did in 2.5 seasons. He really brought this soul back into this organization. He brought it back to prominence briefly. Okay. Of course, there was some touchy times. There was some touchy times. I understand that too. But he was always really informative and respectful to media members, and he always loved to explain everything because he loved to being a teacher. I'm going to miss that. Okay, I'm just going to miss him being a person, being a high character person, and how he treated his community. Okay, I mean, on a whim, we were talking about a Grant High School football team, And that night, he went to go see them play. Okay, of course, Granite Bay and Folsom, and he was just really ingratiated himself into this community. He wanted to be a part of this community. Okay, Mike Brown is a good person. I don't like the way it would happen to him as far as firing stuff, but as far as his character, you know, uh, he's a beautiful person, and I hope he gets another chance, another crack at coaching if that's something that he would do. But I wish him well in everything that he did. Okay, he was really a true professional with us, no doubt about it, and I appreciate that because, and I don't have to go all into it though. All coaches have different personalities and things like that, and I understand that one. But I'll tell you another one that I really respect was Paul Westphal. As far as coaching, may he rest in peace too, and Keith Smart and Reggie Theus too. Okay, these guys was to me, my personal relationship with some really good people. I'm not talking about just the coaching part of it. Some really good people. I mean, Reggie Theus, when his daughter was playing Rocky, who's big time in communications now, and I think she's still reporting. When she was playing for UC Irvine, and they came up here a couple times to play the Sac State. Reggie Theus was sitting right out there in the stands in the Hornet Nest. Okay, people come up, they didn't bother him. They say, "Hey, hold," but he was there. He was there, and Mike was a cool dude. Period.
So,
definitely gonna miss that.
So, Tone, you're in the media. I'm just a podcast journalist with my podcast journalist friends. But I want to bring a coach onto the stage a little bit, right? A guy that coaches locally. That he goes through these motions. So I'm going to add, let's see. Hold on. Coach JT. What's
JT.
up?
All right, then, okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yeah, I can hear you. We can hear you.
Cool.
How you doing, my brother? What's up, man?
I had to take a little time out this vacation to get on here, man. Thanks for the invite.
I had to get a coach's perspective, right? Like, I think that's, you have a lot of good thoughts and a lot of good. I love what you do. Coach JT, for everybody that doesn't know, he is a coach over at JFK High School. I'm gonna be at the next 2 games in January. I told you I'm gonna be there, be square. I love what you do in the community. I love everything that you do to elevate the community. So I have to go ahead, man. I'm gonna give you the floor for a minute. Give me your perspective.
No, so off the top though, man. Deion said it years ago, man. As a coach, you're an at-will employee. You're hired to get fired, or you're hired looking for your next job. Realistically, let's be no ifs ands buts about it. So that I think the one blessing of being a pro coach or a college coach is outside of like high school, you get a guaranteed paycheck. So at the least, take the money out of it. They're going to be able to provide for their family and still live. However, the flip side, I just don't think you have time to put a culture in anymore in any sports thing, right? It's about the quick wins. And they won quickly that first year. The expectations were so high, especially for us. We've been in the drought for so long. As long as I've been around, outside that one little short stand we had, you don't get turnaround time, right? So I think this came about too, and I know a little something about just how like the new age of players in the NBA. And I'm hearing around, my students calling some connections. One, the practices were a little bit extra rough, a little more grimy, a little longer. Guys, they don't want to practice during the season, right? They don't want to practice. They want to shoot around. They want to walk through. And then I think it's just the fact of the respectability. For me, it's tough because I'm an old school guy a little bit, but I have to shift my ways on how you communicate with players and how you navigate game situations, man. I was very disappointed about the last 4 or 5 end-of-game situations, 4 quarters overall. Either from a player perspective or from a coach perspective, it just wasn't clean and crisp to win basketball games. So now, who's to blame? I don't know. But I will say the last game they lost against Detroit, I was hot. Hot. I'm the guy, if I'm up 3, no matter what, with under 10 seconds left in the game,
Fouling.
They put the ball on the floor, I'm fouling every time. And they're in the bonus time, make your free throws, we get the ball in bounds, we make our 2 free throws, we go back that way. I don't care, and I'm hearing somebody say, coach said they back to the basket, you foul. The ball was passed around the perimeter twice. At least with 2 dribbles, and then swung, and everybody just paid him straight up. But I'm like, I get it in the NBA, you get that go-ahead motion, right? But the ball was down a few times. to intentionally foul, and we didn't do it. And then yes, the guy to blame on the last part of that is De'Aaron Fox, point blank period. So ball watching for me and my guys, they know I'm big on ball watching and not seeing ball, man, at the high school level, college level, regardless. You glaringly see him watching the ball. He's out of position. He's not in line with the ball. Knowing he's an 8-year guy, played college basketball. As the ball moves, he never moved that position up. He never got close to his man. He never got in the passing lane to even be on the ball and to catch the shot correctly because he was ball watching, man. So that is part is on him. But the foul part, I believe that still comes down to the guy at the top making decisions. If it's under 3 seconds, that's just a story. Because they can voice one up. But 10 seconds left, you have to foul immediately after one dribble. You foul. Go to the free throw line, win the game. And I just think, like I said, I'm a man. I heard I was driving back from a location today. The locker room was lost though. I thought that they lost that about 2-3 games ago. I heard the post-game interview with Mike Brown. It just didn't seem like, I mean, as a coach, right, we taking both of the blame. But after a while, you could tell he was tired of taking the blame. He was tired of putting it on him. He was tired of saying, me, I, this, that. He was ready to put it on somebody else. And then when Fox started coming out, Rich Paul shows up, I knew it was downhill from there. And as we know, like I said, the first person to go is the coach. That's just how it is right now. And
always.
The coach is going to go first. And it's rarely you have a guy or players say, no, let's work this out, keep the coach here, because they know the coach is replaceable. But not these $100 million players. They only come a dime a dozen. The coach, you can go find a coach again, and that's the part that sucks. But also, like I said, the truth. Like I said when I started, time said it best. You're hired to get fired, or you're hired for your next job. So you're really auditioning. And for me, though, Mike Brown's auditions have never gone well. They've never gone well. L.A., here, even in Cleveland, you take Braun out the equation, Mike Brown probably would get the L.A. job.
Historically, you're right on that. He has been shown the door quickly in sooner than he probably thought. In L.A. and his second stint back in Cleveland, yes, those things did happen. He didn't finish out the season. I don't even know if he got 10 games in with L.A. going into that second season. I think Kobe had something to do with that.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
It just hurts, though, man, for us because we felt what it was like to win again, and now we go backwards, and that's the part I believe that's tough. That's the toughest part, but I do know it's tough for coaching in pros because it's all about your foundation, man. If you don't have time, it takes at least 2 to 3 years to build a foundation from anything. With a new guy coming in, new staff, new philosophies, it is hard to get people to be on board quickly unless you're winning at a high level. And if you're not winning, the buy-in's not there. And that's just how it is right now across any sport. If you're not winning, kids aren't going to watch, people aren't going to tune in. Fans are going to go. After a while, they're going to stop going, they're going to start booing. If you're not winning. So if you're winning carries a lot, man, and it's just tough to see them go down like that so quick, man. But hey, I don't know what's next, man. Like I said, I posted for Doug, man. I do know this though because Doug was a player, and he still plays at a 55 and up over league, 50 and up league, whatever he can. They're still gonna respect DC though, man. I can believe that because he knows he's stamped though. He's official, but also he's one of the guys who didn't take mess, but also he does know how to be coachable in this era, I believe, because it's a transition. You got to be able to be flexible, man.
So, Coach, I think Tone wanted to ask you something, right, Coach?
Yeah, JT, I just want to get, from your coaching perspective, do you feel like, you kind of like alluded to it, that maybe there was some trouble in that locker room, some tension, some friction going on between the players and Coach Brown?
Yeah, I would agree because one thing I respect, hopefully they kept it under wraps. But it started to show its head when the game started losing. Because if you win and you kind of get a disgruntled, you go, okay, man, my coach, we're not seeing eye to eye, but we winning. But then when you start to losing, guys start looking at each other, as we know, pointing fingers in the back. And the guy at the top, the head coach, quote unquote, it's his job to cut that off, right? You either say, hey, this is what we're doing, let's stick together, let's get through this, or let's shift something. Because after a while, like, think about this, think about how many players meetings we already had halfway through. We're not even halfway through the season, we're just getting there now. We're at All-Star break yet, though. How many times we got a players meeting? That was kind of a red flag for me. Monk said we had a players meeting. Fox said we spoke, we picked together. I'm like, it's too early for that. It started earlier, right? You could already tell, like, oh, this is not a good look. How many times you guys got to talk to each other before somebody has to move? But I do think something happened or something didn't see eye to eye, man. And, I think you guys see watching enough of it is the big money guy in the team and the head coach. If the big money guy in the team ain't happy about it, some got to go. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm just that's just the reality. I think the NBA right now, the players have the power. James Harden showed us a great example. Kevin Durant shows a great example. The proof is there. They have LeBron. They have the power. So if those big money guys are invested, the TV money, the ratings goes up. They don't lose those ratings. They sell tickets. Coaches don't sell tickets in the NBA. You know, it's a business, and I can see that, and I've known that. I've watched it for years. It sucks as a coach because if that's your dream opportunity, but to have it snatched away from people not buying it, it hurts, man. But that's the business of the game.
Yeah, I understand, and you might have a good point there about even De'Aaron Fox. Because De'Aaron Fox does sell tickets too with his organization. So
it's
so,
interesting to me. See, man, I don't know, man. I'm from a fan perspective, man. I want us to win so bad. We don't ain't even gotta be great, you guys. But the playoffs is good for me. That ride in the city is great for me. I don't need everything, but we want consistency. But I do know as a player too. I've been on both sides as a coach too, man. It's hard when you give your time and effort to these guys that are making money or kids that don't even like high school, right? And they take it for granted, or they take your job for granted. You know what I mean? Because it's not about, especially the high school coach. I'm not in it for the stipend I get. Try to change these kids' lives, win games, but also build a program from nothing. So then now it's got, when you get people who don't buy in or just try to do what you say, it's different, man. So I can imagine maybe when money's involved, how much more you got to, back and forth you got to go with, and how much it can play with your livelihood, man. It's stuck, especially if you're in the game for the right reasons, though. And I do think Coach Brown was in this for the right reasons, but it comes to a place where you got to be able to shift a little bit and stay relevant, because keep it real. Like say, these new players, they're a little different.
They are.
They know about their business, you know what I mean? I feel like I got the best of both worlds, but I have to change my way I talk to guys. My approach sometimes has to be different. I got to revel a couple backs. I got to realize, okay, pull you to the side. I can't get on you in the room with everybody. Pull you to my office, though. Hey, man, let me get on you today a little bit because I got to make a difference. We feel cool, but they got to show up because that's how we got to do, man. It's all about the communication with guys, quote-unquote mental health, being embarrassed, being talked upon, or being shut down in front of other people. They don't handle that well because it gets broadcasted, man. So you got to really navigate that. Communication is the biggest factor.
Interesting.
Coach JT, I know you're on vacation, bro. I didn't even know. I literally force-fed you the link because you didn't answer your text. So I'm like, I'm going to force-feed him the link, and if he clicks, he clicks. You know what I'm saying?
I said, I got to get to the room real quick. I know my dog wants to send a message, man. I heard our dog.
You know.
I said, man, I woke up, saw this. I was like, golly, I got to talk to somebody, but I appreciate you, man. I'm going to get back to the activities, man. But I'm
Go to yes, sir.
Monday, man. I might be there Monday. If not, I'm sure we're trying to get on D-Lo and KT. We got to talk about this thing because it's going up.
And I need you to call me about what we was talking about. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. We're going to talk about that. Okay.
All right. Until Thursday. They ain't on until Thursday. They ain't on Monday. They're on Thursday.
Oh, see, there you go. They're not back till after the new year.
Yeah.
Oh, see, it was January. I'm thinking we got a whole nother week. See, I'm on vacation.
Well,
I'll give you a buzz, man. All right. Hey,
all right.
You, man.
Appreciate you, my brother. All right.
Appreciate you.
Take it easy, Coach.
That was good.
Okay.
That was good. That was good. Here from a coach's perspective too.
For sure.
He laid that out pretty good.
Huh?
I need to be on vacation.
I know. Man, you ain't lying. So we'll wrap it up a little bit, but moving forward, like, I mean, I guess the very basic question is, where do we go from here, right? I mean, what do you think, Tone? Like, do you think this team? I still think there's so many games left. I'm not expecting them. Obviously, there's first place is not even like an option at this point. But if you can just get into the play-in at this point, right? Like play-in, 8 spot, whatever. Like, man, after that, man, it's anything can happen. Anything can happen. Like, if you can get the team on a row or on a semi-row, or even get to the All-Star break at 500. If you can get to All-Star break playing at 500 ball, and, because here's the thing, like, I laughed about this earlier in my head. I was like, I almost wish Mike Brown was fired before the in-season tournament, because at least then Doug had, like, about a week and a half to work with the players
all that time
on the side.
Right.
Yeah. Right, and that was my big thing. I said it before. It was like, how did you all have this week and a half off, and y'all still look like shit? Like, I don't like what the hell. So, hopefully you can get to the All-Star break and catch, at least be at 500 or a little bit better. But I'll take 500, and at that point, like, man, you got the All-Star break. Anything's possible. Like, you got a little bit of time there in that time frame to work with the team and, like, off days. And, you know, from there, whatever happens, happens. But, like...
Yeah, we have to see. I know that would have been a big help if they had did it at that time. But here, this is where we are. This is what we have to deal with. You know, and we'll get to see some of these things. I remember, I want to say, when they... Let's see, who was that? When they fired Mike Malone, I think Tyrone Corbin was immediately the interim coach, and because Pete D'Alessandro was still on board, so to speak, but they switched up the offense real quick. Okay, and now you know DeMarcus Cousins getting back into the picture, and they're running fast up and down the court. Okay, but they wasn't winning no ball games. Okay. And then the next thing you know, George Karl came into the picture. I think he was still with ESPN or something like that. He was doing commentating work. Then he gets hired, and he starts on the tail end of the season too. And I don't think they did much better, and I don't think they even care. Okay, but I know this is a situation. This is a different situation because that was 10 years ago. So now we have to see how Doug respond. You know, Thurgood Marshall, U.S. Supreme Court Justice, I remember him saying, I did the best with what I had. So let's see if Doug can do the best with what they provided him or what they can provide him going forward so he can get out the gates early and stuff, you know, because now he got to, you know, deal with the offense and the defense, okay, and the personnel, of course, okay. Will Monk still start? You know, all these questions are going to be answered within the next 18 to 24 hours. But let's just see how they can start this new journey into this 2024-2025 campaign. It's going to be really interesting.
It couldn't happen to a better guy. Like, everybody has. It's the one good thing is everybody loves Doug Christie. Like, I don't know anybody that's from the Kings fan base standpoint, like, that has anything bad to say about the dude. So if there was anybody that was next in line to kind of, like, I don't want to say calm everybody because there's not a calm. Everybody's still Chicken Little, right? But at least it's somebody that we all know, that we all love, that we know has played the game, played it on a high level, and played it with. He's a dog, right? He's an absolute dog. So he's going to expect the same out of the guys. And it'll be interesting to see. Tasha, like, how do you get? I want Tasha, David. Like, how do you guys feel right now?
Not great.
Not
great. Still not great. Still kind of no.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think really the way that Mike Brown got fired, that's hitting pretty hard.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it changed.
I don't think that was the move. I really don't think that was the move. I think what was wrong could have been fixed. Of course, I don't know what was going on behind the scenes, but
I think that's what it is. I think even if there was a lot of turmoil that we don't know about yet, or there was stuff going on behind the scenes, like, that's fine and dandy. Like, that stuff comes out, whatever, at a later date, whatever. But you still could have handled this so much better.
So much professional.
Yes. And especially being who you guys are. Like, you're not the Lakers, you're not the Bulls, you're not the Knicks, where, like, if you do something like that, it still looks bad, but, like, it can get swept under the rug a little bit more because of who you are. Where now this is the organization that's infamous for being the redheaded stepchild, and like, you actually
like Mike Brown turned this franchise
16
around.
years 16 effing years out of the playoffs. And no matter what you think of what Brown has done in the last 2 years, he broke that curse.
He retired in his first year here. Just like that.
Like, we were holding him on our shoulders like Rudy. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was Rudy. And y'all fucking 2 years later, there's the zombie apocalypse. And it's insane. Like, if you think about
kicked him to the curb.
Yeah. Kicked him to the curb
like it wasn't nothing. Okay, like it was I'm not going to say an unhoused person, but it was just so wrong. It's just so
wrong on so many levels.
And I heard that news that he was fired, and then a little while later, like I heard someone in the neighborhood like yelling, "I'm close to I-5." Like that might have been Mike Brown. I heard someone yelling.
It might have been.
Mike was on the freeway.
Yeah. I don't
know. I think what I'm like, Manny, to answer your question, what I'm kind of hoping to see, what I'm most interested in seeing going forward in these next, I guess, couple of weeks, couple of games, is how the players respond. If the players start playing better, if they start, again, just giving more effort, then maybe it was a disconnect with the coach or whatever. But if they don't respond and they're playing the same way, then I need Monty to make some changes to this roster, whether that's trading a core piece or doing something different. I think right now it's going to be on the players. I want to see how they respond.
Yes, yeah, because they're the one on the court. They don't want to go out to make this happen, stuff like that. Man, that beam getting kind of dusty. So,
and I'm not. Well, let me tell you. Let me say something about that beam real quick. I know people were like, I heard a lot of people talk about retiring the beam.
Yeah.
And like, I'm not with that. Like, I like it. It is what it is. I don't think all of a sudden you like put it into the drawer and because you can't use it again. Like, yo, you created it. You created the monster. I still think you use it. I'm not sure you use it next game or not. But like, either you use it or you don't. But I would hate to see. Now, Royale, you can put him in the closet. That creepy ass, whatever the hell he is. I think he
caused all the problems that we have anyway.
There you go. There you go. If you look close enough at Royale's face, it looks like Trump to me. But that's a story for another day. Whatever.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, but wherever he's at, boxed up or whatever, let him stay wherever Royale is. If he's working for McDonald's or Burger King now or in Florida or Cincinnati, stay there.
Yeah, stay there, man.
But I want to see the beam again.
Me
myself.
Too.
I enjoyed, I'm usually there at least a couple hours after the game. We're finishing up these reports and these interviews and pressers and things. And walking out of there and seeing that beam, especially when I'm driving south to South I-5. So when you see it and how it's just kind of like sit amongst with high risers that we have and stuff, that is just it's a beautiful scene to me. I love seeing that beam going up there. Then you can see it from parts of where I live at in the neighborhood myself. Because I just want to see it again. Again and again. I think it's really good for the city. I do think it has brought, the city together, and it's definitely a delight for the kids, especially around here if they can see it too. When they out, I've seen kids out at night where their parents brought them out just to see that beam.
Right.
Okay, I'm 6-7 miles south of downtown, on the southwest side of downtown Sacramento. I really enjoy seeing that. So get a win tomorrow. Maybe they'll, crank it back up and go from there. I everybody has the opinions strong, whether they want to keep it, retire, whatever. I understand that. But me personally, keep that thing going.
Yeah, okay? I'm like Tristan. Warm me up on that beam, baby. Warm me up on that beam. Let's go.
If we get rid of that, we might have another curse coming.
Right. Hey, in Chicago, we got rid of the GOAT. Look, man. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, come on, man.
2017, baby.
Bro, year after I moved, I was like, God damn it. But, but, again, man, like, it's part, I like it. I understand everybody's, like, just angry and, the pitchforks are coming out and all that good stuff. But, like, it's good for the fans. It's good for us. I don't care what other teams think. If it annoys other teams, then it did its job.
Yes.
You're supposed to have that extra, just like the cowbells, right?
Draymond is about it, keep that going.
Yeah. And let me go back to that real quick. I want to make mention of that. We all saw Fox on Draymond's episode, right? And as much as I can't stand that dude at times, he said it, and there was a prophecy behind it. He said, Darren, this dude specializes in defense. Why aren't the players respond? And there was something to that. There was people, and I remember seeing that clip, and I was like, and it was like as much things. I didn't take that as him trying to poke the bear. I took that as his respect for what Mike Brown has done in various points. And he basically was shifting it back to De'Aaron and all the players in that point. Was like, bro, he's a defense. Like everywhere he's gone, he's gotten guys to buy in. What's wrong with you guys? And there was something to that in that moment. And
did bring up the personnel issue. He did. So, like you said, at this point, they did what every team usually does. They fired the head coach. They always go first. Now, the shifts to Monty and Wes. And to Vivek to a point, but mainly because Vivek can do whatever the hell he wants, right? He's the owner. He ain't going to fire himself. No.
So, at this point, it's Monty and Wes. You're on the clock. Go make whatever moves it is. Give up whatever draft picks you have to do to, one, in my opinion, keep De'Aaron here, and to shore up this lineup, and let's go. Let's effing go.
There's still a lot of basketball left in this season, so
these
things can be made possible. And of course, with this move today, fans are definitely going to be looking at that with a strong lens, because
absolutely.
This is what we talk about Vivek, and he's all about the bottom line, but we're talking about the people who spending money out there too, who wants to come see the game and has a special interest in this too. So yes. Hey,
I'm not even reading
though, man. I really appreciate y'all bringing me on there.
Tom, I had to have
Tosh,
you, bro.
Dave,
I appreciate you.
I saved it all for you guys. I appreciate that. And hearing from y'all's perspective as well too. But
we appreciate.
Let's just hope they can get back. Yeah, thanks. But just hope that they can get back in that win column soon and stay there for a little while too. So that's what we're looking for. And
look, as much as I love murder mysteries, the last thing I want to see is the murder of the Sacramento Kings. I don't need to see that book, Tone. I like your other books. You know what I'm saying?
I'll write about it too.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I'll write about it too.
So we definitely
have Roy Owl on the cover.
Man. So we appreciate you having you on.
Roy Owl did it.
Roy Owl. That's what's gonna be. Roy Owl did it.
Yeah, who done it? Roy Owl.
He's just sitting there. That's how he looks. Every time I look at his face, I'm like, I know you got kids' bodies somewhere, kid. I can tell. So again, we love you. You bring a great analysis, and can't wait to have you on again. We'll talk again. I appreciate you. You didn't even text me. Like I said, man, you fucking actually called me. Which,
I had to do it.
Right there, man. That's love right there. So appreciate you having on. And we, I don't know if we're going to do Wednesday now. I don't know where we at now, Tasha. But we'll talk about it offline. So
Monday, depending how things go.
For real. Look, there's 459 people in here right now. I need y'all to hit the like button.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Like.
I need y'all to hit this like button.
Hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't.
Come on, man.
Please do.
If you ain't subscribed to 1320, which exactly.
Yeah, this is a great PM show here. We're talking about a great evening show after all the radio airwaves are turned down a little bit and stuff. So join in.
I gotta say,
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Great conversations here.
Thanks for classing up the joint,
That's for real. No, we appreciate you, David. I appreciate you guys taking the time out of your schedule and joining me on this. It was basically all Chiron's idea. I didn't even think about it, and he brought it up. He had some family stuff going on, so
I noticed he was here.
Love out to him. Yeah, he's got some family issues, and prayers up for him. And but good idea. We knocked this out. Tone, you the man, and we appreciate y'all. And we'll let you know when we're on next. Peace.
Chatty house. We ballin', boy. We going up at the Chatty house. We talk about it all, bring the family out. Sub to the channel, hit the likes now. And we only going up when the lights Chatty House party. We just getting started. Ain't no party like a Chatty House party.